Hey everybody, this is Jim at SB500chart.com. It is about 6:30 on June 10th, 2013. We're going to take a pretty quick look at the S&P today. Really nothing much happened today, but a few things I think worth mentioning, and I will make this brief. And I want to give you a heads up that tomorrow's video will be late. And it's because I'm going to be doing some traveling and I'm going to be on the road. So I will not be in a position to do anything until I get back 10:30 or so, and I'm just going to hit it as fast as I can. But before we take a look today, I need to remind you that the website and the video are for educational purposes only, and nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I'm not a licensed financial professional. Hey, I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. Let's take a look. Okay, essentially a flat day in the S&P, but what is significant is we stay above this descending resistance line, and I call it a resistance line because for more than 2 weeks it was resistance. We broke out over that on Friday, but not by a technically significant margin. Now, let's do something real quick. I'm going to measure this spot to this spot right here, get that height, put that down to about 1600. So basically, at the highs today, at that point in time, the S&P was just about 1% over this line. The fact that we're over this line now for 2 days tells me this is probably something that is indeed technically significant. Now, you'll remember we talked about the potential of this being kind of a head and shoulders-ish kind of pattern. I'm going to make this a neckline right now. This may change, but I do find it interesting that we essentially found some support at this line drawn over what could possibly be construed as an inverted head and shoulders neckline. It's got that weird little nub of a right shoulder that I'm not that crazy about, but we've seen it over the past year to year and a half, where we would get these patterns that would look like they were going to be inverted head and shoulders, and all of a sudden they would just go on up without really getting that symmetry that you like to see. Now, the other reason I'm looking at this as a potential inverted head and shoulders is where it's forming. You'll remember before we were in this green channel defined by this line and this line. We had a little peak over here, then we had a bigger peak. We broke this line, then we back tested it, and then we came down. Oftentimes a right shoulder forms on a back test, whether it is a head and shoulders top, a head and shoulders consolidation, or an inverted head and shoulders bottom. This would really be more of the consolidation type because we're so close to the all-time highs in the S&P. So let's keep an eye on this line, and then I'm going to draw an alternate, because this line is almost exactly, not exactly, but almost exactly horizontal. I would go so far as to say, let's make it a little lighter, if the S&P gets over this line right here, then let me change that. If we get over this line and this line, then I think this probably will serve as an inverted head and shoulders pattern. and splitting the difference a little bit on the target we would probably be looking at an expected move to take us to just under or right at 1700. So really nothing much happened today. The thing that's technically significant, if you ask me, is mostly the fact that we stayed over this broken resistance line. If we do that for another day, then this line should definitely be turned into support. This line should still be resistance, but I want to remind you that the target from this head and shoulders top was essentially met when we got down to 1598. It actually missed by a hair, but maybe this long candle right here on that open on the 22nd, maybe that just got a little bit out of range. So it could be that I'm not that worried about missing by about 2.5 points. So guys, I'm still looking at what we saw today as not being anything to tell us that we are not dealing with some kind of little inverted head and shoulders form that has formed over the last week and a day. So let's just keep our eyes on it, see if we can power on up and get over 1655 or so, and if so, we should be setting up a move to right at or just under 1700. So there's your video for today. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, take care. Let's see what the rest of this week brings us. And again, I'll remind you, tomorrow's video is going to be late. 10:30, 11 p.m., something like that, Eastern Time. So thanks for your patience. This happens from time to time. Rarely, but it does. So I want to give you a heads up. Thanks, everybody. Take care.